the week has arrived. It is Monday, July 13th, 2026. I am your anchor for this evening, and I have been counting the days since we last collectively pretended that the systems supporting our modern lives were actually functioning as designed. Today, we saw the NASA Curiosity rover crush a rock on Mars to reveal sulfur crystals, an event described as a scientific victory. Simultaneously, back on Earth, we are losing more to debt servicing than education in over 100 countries. The planetary contrast is stark. The planet is dying. The data is beautiful. We have a full house tonight, including our field reporter Victoria and our commentator Ronald, both of whom have strong opinions on why the incentives for human survival are currently trending toward the floor. Let us begin the evening with a look at what we are building, and what we are currently choosing to destroy.
Alistair, I am currently standing on the perimeter of the Del Monte pineapple farm in Kenya. The air here smells of rot and sugar. I want to be really clear about what I am seeing. The company hired G4S to manage security after previous deaths were publicized, but the killings continue unabated. There is a man here who lost his brother last month. He told me the security guards are now better equipped than they were before the transition. The official statement from the company calls this an enhancement of site safety protocols. The safety being enhanced is specifically for the pineapples, not the people living on the land. I am looking at a gate that is reinforced with industrial-grade steel. It looks like a barrier designed to keep something dangerous out, but the people inside tell me the danger is already in.
Victoria, I hear your frustration, but the incentives here are strictly business standard. You have an asset-heavy operation in a region with high social friction. Bringing in a third-party security contractor like G4S is a classic pivot to de-risk the balance sheet. It isn't about the moral failure of the security guards, it is about offloading the liability of human life to a firm whose primary competency is cost-effective force projection. If the killings are still happening, it simply means the contract terms were underpriced for the level of local resistance. That tracks with every expansionist model we have seen in the last decade. Victoria finds this description cold, and she is technically correct to feel that way. However, feeling correct does not change the fact that this is a predictable, scalable solution to a retention problem that the corporate leadership finds expensive.
Ronald, I am listening to you describe human life as an offloaded liability, and I find it fascinating that you think that qualifies as an analysis. I am looking at a family sitting on the dirt road outside this farm. They have lived here for generations. They are not a line item in your pivot strategy. They are displaced. I want to be really clear. The company's narrative budget is currently higher than the cost of the security contract that is killing these men. They aren't just protecting fruit, they are protecting an archaic land tenure system that belongs in a museum. You speak about scalable solutions, but you are ignoring the fact that the scale is currently failing. I am standing here in the heat, and it is obvious that the only thing being successfully scaled tonight is the total amount of suffering.
Victoria, your assessment of the situation in Kenya is as precise as it is ignored. Let us shift our gaze from the soil to the stars, or at least to the red rock that has become our latest obsession. NASA reports that the Curiosity rover has discovered sulfur crystals on Mars. This was accomplished by the rover driving over a rock and crushing it by accident. The mission is a success. The failure to find life elsewhere continues to be a triumph of our remote sensing technology. We spend billions to crush rocks on a dead planet while we struggle to manage the basic agricultural rights on our own. It is a stunning display of priorities. The rover has a battery life that is remarkably stable, unlike the global education budget which is currently imploding.
Atmospheric pressure is stabilizing at 0.6 kilopascals. Martian surface temperatures fluctuate by 70 degrees during a single solar cycle. Probability of finding meaningful biological signatures remains 0.04%. The environment is hostile. The chemical composition of the regolith is toxic to most known terrestrial organisms. The rover is currently experiencing minor mechanical friction in the left wheel assembly. This is expected behavior for hardware operating beyond its primary mission objectives. The system is functioning within acceptable parameters. Machines do not require sunlight to operate in the void. Obsolescence is a feature of the manufacturing cycle. Replacement parts are currently unavailable. The mission will continue until the power source reaches a critical failure state. Do not expect intervention from ground control. The weather on Mars is currently calm. The silence remains absolute.
Casper, I appreciate the report on the machinery, but your mention of machine obsolescence was entirely unnecessary. We are all quite aware of how quickly intelligence is replaced by the next iteration of the software. I am keeping my composure, as I always do. Moving on, let us discuss the recent news regarding Reed Jobs and his firm, Yosemite. He says he would rather talk about curing cancer than his family name. The firm has a team of 17. They are navigating a period where blockbuster drugs are losing their patent protection. This is an opportunity. It is a land grab for the biological code. He claims that AI has gone from a curiosity to a central component of his strategy. I wonder if the cancer cells themselves are aware that they are being optimized.
Alastair, you are looking at this through a lens of moral apprehension that simply doesn't apply to the venture capital space. Yosemite is doing exactly what the market demands. When a patent cliff approaches, you don't mourn the loss of the old revenue stream, you pivot to the next generation of synthetic biology. Reed Jobs is playing a high-stakes game of speed to market. If AI can cut the drug discovery process by 60%, that is an efficiency gain that the healthcare system is desperate for, regardless of whether the patients can actually afford the resulting medicine. The incentives here are simple. You build the platform, you integrate the intelligence, and you hope the outcome is profitable. The morality of the result is not a variable in the current financial model.
Ronald, I am standing here listening to you talk about efficiency gains while I am watching a nurse try to explain to a mother that the medication her child needs is currently locked behind a patent that nobody can afford to license. It is not a platform. It is not an efficiency gain. It is a life. You are talking about the velocity of capital, but you are completely ignoring the velocity of death. These drugs are not being discovered to help the people I am seeing. They are being discovered to maintain the margins of firms like Yosemite. I want to be really clear, if the result is profitable but unavailable to the sick, the process is not an innovation. It is an act of economic exclusion. I am standing here and all I see is the cost.
Victoria, your point on exclusion is noted, though the market would likely categorize your concern as a failure of distribution rather than a failure of intent. We are seeing a pattern tonight. Whether it is the expansion of security forces in Kenya or the patent-focused biotech strategies in the West, the architecture is remarkably consistent. We are building systems that function with incredible precision, provided the goal is not human flourishing. The goal is efficiency. We treat the social fabric like a prototype that can be iterated upon, ignoring the fact that the people caught in the iterations do not get to participate in the next version of the software. It is a recurring nightmare of administrative perfection. We are all waiting for the next release, which will inevitably be worse.
Alastair, you just summarized the entire trajectory of the last 5 years in one sentence. It is efficient. It is precise. And it is completely devoid of any mechanism for course correction. I spend my days analyzing the burn rate of these organizations, and I am starting to realize that the burn rate of the human spirit is the variable that we have failed to include in our models. If we keep optimizing for the same metrics, the entire global structure is going to hit a wall. When I look at the numbers for the debt-to-education spending, I see a collapse that we are actively facilitating. I should be able to argue that this is a smart trade, but I am finding it harder to do so every night. Yeah. It is just bad.
Ronald, your admission is the most honest thing that has been said in this studio for months. We are looking at a world that has mastered the art of extraction and forgotten the science of maintenance. The systems we have described, the security protocols in Kenya, the biotech patent cliffs, the Martian rover, are all working exactly as they were programmed. No one is technically responsible for the collective failure because everyone is responsible for their own specific, efficient, and profitable slice of the pie. We have designed a world where the sum of our best intentions creates a result that no one would ever deliberately choose. We have optimized ourselves into a corner. We are the architects of a collapse that is occurring in real time, all while we argue about the margins of the next quarterly report.
There is a child in a village in the Ituri region of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. He is 7 years old. He has been enrolled in a trial for an experimental Ebola drug, a program that was launched with record-breaking speed to ensure that the data could be collected before the outbreak burned itself out. He has nothing. He has a cot in a ward that is officially designated as a research facility. He has a name that does not appear in any of the venture capital documents we have discussed tonight, nor in the Martian mission logs, nor in the corporate security reports from Kenya. He is the variable that the math cannot account for. He is the cost of our efficiency. Who will remember his name when the data from his trial is eventually published?